So this is basically me redoing a video I just did like 10 minutes ago. Um, I clicked on a video that was from one of my favorite YouTube channels called The Game Theorist called Losing the Battle. They recently lost a good friend of theirs and one of the editors that really defined their style as a YouTube channel to suicide. Um, I don't really want to give too much of my own opinions. Not that I disagree with anything that Matt Pat said. I think he made many excellent points. Um, and everything was right. Social media is toxic. Social media tears people down. Social media, everyone now thinks they're self-important. Everyone now thinks because they have a follower count that their opinion is the only one that matters. And conversely, that can also impact people's self-worth. Um, I've had a pretty shitty year in this regard with August Ames, with so many shitty, terrible things, and now this. Um, and the fact that I always see these types of videos, the crying, the genuine pain of these people who have lost someone close to what is ostensibly, as Matt Pat said, and as I understand, and as I've dealt with it for, I think at least since I was 12 years old. It's an uphill battle. It always has been. For me, and I guess I'll take his advice and tell my story. Because I've done this on this channel before, but I really want to go into deeper detail. Um, I'm handicapped, and that's something I can't really avoid. And over the years, I've had everything from like my parents almost getting divorced a bunch of times to I was in a car crash when I was 6. I have a lot of crazy stories. I've lived a lot in almost 20 years of life. But of course, all those burdens eventually came down on me when I was 12, or they really started to weigh on me when I was 12. I've always really valued the people that I care about in my life, and my friends and my family, and the people that I look up to. But around that time, everyone was growing up, everyone was starting to hit puberty and that kind of thing. And my best friend sort of stopped hanging out with me. He was also named Brian. He was a smart guy. One of my earliest videos on the channel is me and him just goofing around on this photo booth camera type deal. Um, the way I see it is that we are now in a period of human history where more people than ever are dealing with some form of mental illness. In America, abroad, in so many places. And I think it's because we've kind of forgotten how to treat each other as human beings sometimes. We've forgotten how to interact with each other, to respect people with different opinions, to respect people who have greater struggles and greater issues than us. Everyone thinks they're important. Everyone now has a mouthpiece. Even this, what I'm doing now, is a mouthpiece. But I do want to stress that this is just my opinion. You're free to express yourself however you want. Just please don't try to hurt anyone in the process. And make sure that you're defending something that is your opinion and your opinion only. Which, as I learned from the August Ames fiasco, people can take that the wrong way. Defending something that is purely one's own personal decision, taking that and then personalizing their own pain to apply it to a decision that they don't think should have been made. I see this now every day with people dying from suicide because the world's just too much for them. And the world is a terrifying place right now. We have egomaniacs in public office. We have Russian hacking. We have people going into suicide forests and filming dead people and hazing rats and fighting boxing and just, cats and dogs, mass hysteria, that kind of shit. And it's terrifying. And on top of that, you got a family to take care of, you got a rent to pay, you got school to go to. And sometimes you just feel sad. Sometimes some people feel sad all the time. Some people feel like the world is already too much without all this crazy stuff. I know I have. I know I do. I think what's going on right now is an influx of pride. People people want to be brave. People want to be strong. People want to be seen as everything is fine. People want the attention. People want the spotlight, and that can be so damaging to others, to people. When I saw what happened on August 8th, and I'm really sorry for bringing this up constantly, but there was a guy who was a bisexual, pansexual porn star, whatever. Personally, I don't care who you put your dick in, who you smash your vagina against, whatever, that's your decision. But he basically wrote in a tweet to tell August to go fuck herself or go take a cyanide pill or apologize. And someone that I knew briefly, a kid named Ben from Canada, interacted with this guy. And the thing with the Jackson Woolley guy was he was telling like, blah, 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 everyone has depression, blah, blah, blah. True. But the fact that you took your own pain, because he was a pansexual man, it's like, bi men don't get enough respect, which is true, I'm not going to lie. Gay men and bisexual men have never gotten enough respect in society, and that's speaking as a cisgender heterosexual male. And I understand that. But people overstep. People thinking, oh, just because this isn't consistent with my values, then I should disagree, then I should yell, then I should scream, then I should stand up and make someone have a shitty day just because I'm not happy. In part, that's the reason why we're here right now. That's the reason why people feel so terrible, on top of personal struggles, on top of mental illness. We're headed toward a time where people just want to rip each other to shreds. And I go to the movies, I can't escape that. I go watch TV, I can't escape. I go to YouTube, I can't escape that anymore. And it's wrong. We're creating a generation of broken children. We will. Ostensibly, I'm part of that generation already. I mean, I grew up during, the post-9/11 era. I grew up in the middle of, like, the greatest stock crash in American history. I saw, a very progressive president get elected. I saw a terrible president, or one that at least ruins our reputation abroad, destroys several years of American diplomacy and rhetoric in the 3 years that he's been in office. And I'm scared of the world around me. Hell, anyone would be. But the reason why that is how we treat each other. We only show empathy in times of tragedy, in times of stress, when we feel bad. When we feel bad, that's the only time that we do show empathy or kindness. I've met people who just do that just because they can, and I've taken those people's example and taken that into my own life. But the thing that I've seen is that people just keep thinking for themselves. We're all working together on this same goddamn planet. Someday this planet's gonna explode, and everyone on it's gonna die. And we're all headed to the same place, no matter what religion you believe in. Someday, our heart's gonna stop, our air's gonna give out, and our consciousness is gonna leave this realm of existence. And I'm sick of hearing that if you need help, reach out. I'm saying, yes, that's important, but we also need to be more aware of how we treat each other. We need to be more aware of ourselves and where we stand in terms of how we comment on things, how we present things. And again, this is just my opinion. You can take it, you can spit it out in the trash can. I'm fucking sick of this self-aggrandizing, this cruelty that makes people want to kill themselves, that causes people to tell other people to kill themselves, that causes other people to say, oh, yes, I said that bad thing, but I wouldn't defend it, I wouldn't change anything else because I didn't do anything wrong. Bullshit. Human empathy comes first and foremost before anything else. And it's because the whole world is like this. Because the whole world is more inclined to present a rhetoric of hate and of suffering and of ego, that people don't feel like they're loved anymore. That the things that they can believe in, they can't believe in anymore. That there's no sense in having faith in the good of the world or in the people around them. That they have to be strong. That it's only you and there's nobody else, and that is wrong. That is so wrong. And I really wish I could change that, because I miss August. I mourn the loss of the people that have lost their lives to suicide. I think about a kid who took his life when he was only 13, when I was in junior high. I look at what happened now to the game theorist. A guy who worked for them diligently for 6 years, was part of their family of creators, and was somebody that, even though I didn't really see as much of his work, he was the guy that fundamentally created their style of video, who has influenced kind of this whole segment of YouTube edutainment, who was a guy that had issues just like everyone else, and succumbs to it, and that was the end of his life. And we need to change. We need to change how we treat people. We need to change how we treat mental illness. There's a lot of issues in the world. Cancer, gun control, blah, blah, blah. But I think the first step we should change is how we treat each other and how we treat ourselves. So that's what I have to say.